So I wanted to ask the other panelists first to kind of address Christian's point. As coming from completely different industries, from the financial industry, how do you see data centers? Do you see them bifurcating on this trend of optimizing, rolling up to the CFO, and other folks going, it's not a big enough part of my business, I'll eventually going to outsource this anyway? Do you agree or disagree with Christian's take on that, Mike?
Fundamentally, I agree with what Christian's saying. Like Bob, we carry, when you think of a financial institution, it's very IT dependent. The data is so critical to a bank that you're managing the data in a particular way. If we lost customer data from a bank, our credibility would be gone, and we would, in essence, start exiting the business. So managing that infrastructure is very, very critical to us. Managing the infrastructure at the right price point is extremely critical to us. If we're not driving our costs down from an IT perspective, we're creating a lack of profitability. We're creating an expense challenge that has to be addressed in another way. If you take a look at what's happening in banking, and you can generically look at it, and I think Bob began to touch on it, our investments in IT and the infrastructure and being able to deliver services, it's huge. We're probably in the neighborhood of about 40% of our reinvestment is into IT. That's what banking is all about. You have internet banking, telephone banking. You start looking at what's happening in the capital markets, it's all IT dependent. Everything is really structuring down to that infrastructure. Our job is to drive those costs down to the bare minimum to keep the expenses in line. That's the only way we can move forward.
So the financial organizations are bifurcated with the same kind of space as the cloud providers, the large internet web scale companies that's on that same.
However, there are parts of our business that we're not going to do as economically as a cloud, quote, cloud provider. Running a payroll system, that can be sourced.
Yeah,
so you begin to break apart your systems to say what is most critical to you and what can you acquire in a more
right.
efficient way.
You have different applications that it's like an onion, right? Your core business apps you may never put out in the cloud.
That's correct.
And as you move further out, like payroll, it's the outer shell. That'll go first,
yes.
And then if security and other things evolve and people get confidence, more of that onion may move out.
Absolutely.